Welcome to the NerdSpace podcast for the 17th of the 9th, 2016. This is your wrap-up, and today we have been at Realm in Ringwood, having lots of great casual games of Magic and general board games. It's been a much more relaxed atmosphere this time round. Wish you could have joined us. Of course, you can find us on the first back at EVs. So, not a lot to talk about what happened today, but a lot to promise for next event. So, next event is going to be D&D. What's happening, Deege?
So I'm really stoked for this next D&D event. We got halfway through an adventure in the last one, so in this one we're continuing on the exploration of the Amber Temple. It's going to be very cool. And I am working feverishly on our very last D&D campaign, D&D session for the year, and that will be world-shattering, if I should put it that way. It will be very cool. So if you're able to, come along for that. It's our very last event of the year.
Also coming up, Chidgey has a GURPS campaign that now has to compete against Earth-Shattering. How's it going?
So I'm organising a GURPS campaign. GURPS is your generic universal role-playing system, so that's going to cover everything. I'm talking you could be in the past with dinosaurs. I'm talking it could be super futuristic, something Deege can't counter with, going from many different worlds. I'm almost set, but I'm just going to have to spend a bit of time creating characters with people who are interested, because that's the longest part, and we don't want to get into a session where we're all just sitting there making characters, not able to play.
So we jump into a couple of quick news stories we want to talk about. Also, I didn't introduce us. I'm Bryan, and as you heard was Deege and Chidgey as per normal. So a couple of quick news stories. First one, Pokemon Generations was announced and released, and we noticed it about 4 minutes before recording.
So I went to the toilet, and on my way back I was playing with my phone, and on Facebook there was a little thing about Pokemon Generations, and I was like, what's this? And it said it was an animated style in the style of the Pokemon Origins, which a lot of Pokemon fans already know and love.
It was so good.
So basically we jumped on the computer as soon as I got back and loaded it up. Looks amazing, and essentially this is going to visit each generation of Pokemon. So this goes from Kanto all the way up to the Kalos region, and it's a bit of backstory on all those moments that you don't quite get a lot of information or see anything about in the original animation.
So, and it's following Red. So the first episode is basically a montage of his achievement, or more accurately, Red's Pikachu's achievements.
Yeah, it seems to be a montage of Red's Pikachu taking on all the legendaries of every region and just all those awesome little bits of battle.
So I think I speak for everyone when I say, stop listening to this and go check it out. Did you want to add anything, Deege?
I just wanted to say Pikachu is an absolute boss in this.
Oh,
so
he's
stoked.
So good. So we've got a bit of an interesting discussion topic to jump into with a few extra special guests from NerdSpace. But before we do that, Deege, you've got a mystery pack there, and we think we're limited resources sometimes. Do you want to crack that and we'll do like a first pick?
All right, sounds good. I was saying just before that I'm really nervous because I'm not sure if I'll be able to open it, but it opened very well. Opening it up now, we have interesting looking cards.
Just skip through to the good ones, I think.
All right, here is Scroll of the Masters. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a lore counter on it, and pay 3 and tap. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each lore counter.
You did not win the lottery.
Yeah.
So basically we're selling these at NerdSpace for drafting primarily. What is it, $2 each?
They're $2 each, or you can get 3 for $5.
Right. So if you're coming down and you want to play like a really quick pack war, or I think we're hoping to have a draft with them, there's a few money cards in there just to keep it interesting, but it's really like a fun little balanced draft format that doesn't cost a lot, so we're looking forward to getting some people involved in playing that in the coming events as well.
And just a huge shout out to Chidgey and Jesse for donating cards for these packs.
And whoever donated Scrolls and the Masters, come on. Get better. Do you want to crack your pack, Chidgey? Maybe you'll get something better.
All right, let's see what do we get here.
So, the classic.
I've got the good old classic Shivan Dragon. So he's a 6-drop for 2 red and 4 colourless. He's flying 5/5, but you've got the good old red buff power. You pay 1 red mana, and he gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. So this is the kind of thing that you just feed mana and swing for heaps of damage.
Alright, what have I grabbed out here? I've got Convalescent Care. It's 1 white for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 5 life or less, you gain 3 life and draw a card. I think that's worth less than the card it's printed on. So that was a dismal failure. Shall we jump into our discussion topic now?
Alright, so I'm pretty nervous about starting off this discussion because sitting across from me are 2 anime buffs, but Last week I said I don't like cosplay. Today I'm saying that I don't really like anime either. And as I said, sitting across from me are two anime buffs. Do you guys want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Ben Ryan, and I've been watching anime before I even knew what anime was.
And I'm Patrick. I've been watching a few anime series over the course of my life, but I really got into anime around September 2014.
Very nice. So, as for me, I watched anime as a kid. I liked Dragon Ball Z. I watched a bit of Sailor Moon, all that kind of stuff. But as I've grown up, I've kind of fallen out of love for it. Somebody suggested Full Metal Alchemist to me. I watched a bit of it. I was like, I don't really get this. I liked Ghost in the Shell, but I don't get anime. And I think part of it is that I don't get the sort of culture of anime. Seems like there's a lot of intertextuality with it that I just don't understand. And the other thing, and this sounds really mean-spirited, I promise it's not. The other thing that I don't get is that it takes itself really seriously. Seems like a lot of the animes that I see are really into themselves and really serious about what they're saying. Kind of turns me off. What do you guys think?
Well, there are some anime that take themselves seriously and some that don't.
So I think that's almost the kind of animes that you'd like is a bit different than the majority out there. That being said, if you don't like the overly serious, you need to go and just give it a try. One Punch Man. This is in no way, shape, form or taking itself seriously. It screws around about itself and it's just a fun anime. And apart from that, when it comes to Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood was a lot more serious than the original. The original was really funny. You got all these funny little gimmicks within it, which were a little less serious, and it's not all in your face. So that might be a way to maybe look at it that you've been seeing the wrong things.
So I found it really interesting, Deege, that you mentioned it as being a cultural issue. Like you find it difficult to relate to the more Japanese aspects of the...
So I think it's the story structure. The animation style actually appeals to me, and I think that anime can look quite beautiful. As he said, I struggle with some of the Japanese cultural particularities, and I struggle with... Sometimes it seems like animes reference each other in either obvious or not so obvious ways, and I find it difficult as a beginner to get into that.
So as people who are really into the anime sort of thing, did you ever face this problem, guys, and how did you sort of work through it?
There are some cultural differences, but I mostly got over them by learning what differences were and learning to accept them.
Countering that, there's also a lot of anime that are not as original and interesting compared to Western material. So there's a new series at the moment called 91 Days, and it's about the Prohibition. So if you are more into like westernized material, 91 Days is a good series to watch because it's not out there, in my opinion.
Nice. That sounds interesting. I don't know if I'm a convert, but I'll check some of the ones that you suggested. I might let you know how I go.
The thing is that anime is not just like Western animation where it's one thing. It's like a whole media thing itself. There's anime for housewives, there's anime for salarymen, there's anime for old men. It's the same with manga pretty much. You just have to look hard enough to find it.
I think it's more like a large genre, like you can have metal, but then within that you have sub-genres. So you've got death metal, heavy metal, and all that kind of stuff within that. So anime itself is animated, basically, is what it's short for. So anything that's been animated is technically anime. And then within that, you've got all your different genres of different types of shows within anime.
So there's a genre. So there's just as same as Western. There's action, there's adventure, there's comedy, there's dark fantasy. I'm sure if you research the genres you're interested in, and then you I'm sure you'd find something that's to your liking.
So when we get you into the cosplaying in a couple of weeks, Deege, we'll watch some episodes of Full Metal while we're at it.
You are a terrible person. I'm not cosplaying, and I don't know if I'm going to watch anime ever again.
So with that, I think we'll wrap up here. You'll be hearing from us next weekend. I believe we're going to have another episode of our folklore podcast, as well as our Dungeon Master's Guide. And then after the next event, of course, you'll have yet another wrap-up. So keep watch on if you're listening to this on iTunes, awesome. Otherwise, all of these now get turned into YouTube videos, so you can watch them at work when you're pretending to do the things you get paid for. So with that, I've been Bryan.
I've been Deege.
And I'm Chidgey.
And joining us today, we're very thankful to have had
Ben Ryan.
And Patrick.
Thanks for listening, everyone. And Jesse, I hope you've caught the question. See ya.